Communication with residents and their families. A little conversation and a willingness to listen. It's all a part of developing good communication with residents. Consider the observations of experienced nurse aides.
We're the only person that comes in contact with the patient on a daily basis. So you can find out if something's going on with the patient, whether they're lonely or just need someone to talk to, or if they worried about something. And so it's good to keep a communication line open where the patient can talk to you.
Just give them that special time just to communicate.
Trust and open communication are essential to developing a relationship with residents. The information that you learn in a conversation may be crucial to the resident's well-being. For example, if the resident complains of discomfort or pain, this type of information may be a signal of a problem that needs to be reported to your supervisor.
It's always important that you listen to what the resident has to say, hear them out.
Usually, if you take your time and you spend that time with them and you're talking to them and doing their care, it's like they have a time to talk to you and tell you what's on their minds and what's going on with them. And when you're doing that, you just get a lot of information that they won't give a nurse.
The purpose of this in-service is to review the skills needed to develop good communication with residents and their families. To give you a fuller understanding of why good communication is important, you'll hear from both residents and their family members. Their thoughts and feelings will give you an insight into why good communication with you is so important. At the end of this program, you should be able to explain the importance of listening to a resident. Describe ways in which you can build trust with a resident. List ways that can help you communicate better with residents who have poor vision and hearing. Explain why treating a resident with dignity and respect is important to developing good communication. Describe how you should treat family members and why communication with them is important. Describe the action you should take when a resident has a complaint or problem that you cannot help them solve. As we stated in the beginning, a little conversation and a willingness to listen may seem like a simple gesture on your part, but for residents and their families, this simple gesture is vital in helping them through a difficult time.
If they don't know you, then they're not going to come to you. But if they see you every day and you have a smile or you always having something to say to them, then they'll learn to trust you and, have faith in you that you will be there when they need you.
Coping with change. For many nursing home residents, frail health and the loss of independence can lead to depression and a sense of isolation. Being away from home and family is often difficult emotionally and spiritually. Some residents adjust to their new life, while for others, it is a continuous struggle. Consider for a moment the experience of this 100-year-old resident.
I've learned that life's what you make it. I'd rather be home. Of course, I'd rather be home. I sure would.
I had to go into a nursing home because I didn't have anybody to take care of me. I've never been very sick in my life, but I had to adjust to that.
And if you go into a strange place, they don't know you and they don't understand you. But here, it seems like they want to know. And they kind of put out an extra effort to when you first come in, to put you at ease. I know there's one of them that I call my angel. She has always been so sweet. And I think a lot of her. And I hope she likes me. The idea of going someplace where you get care, it's a big thing when you're not at home. And you miss the folks at home. And then they get to be your family right here.
Placing a loved one in a nursing home is among the most difficult decisions a family can make. Often there is a deep sense of loss, and there are feelings of guilt as they struggle with the question of whether or not the right decision was made. For family members, it is a painful experience to watch a loved one decline mentally and physically.
A very, very hard decision. Very hard. But sometimes you have to just back off and not let it overwhelm you, and just let God come to you and help you make that choice for them and what's best. Maybe not for us, because we selfishly want to keep them as long, the way they always were, but times come when you have to step back and say, God, help me make this choice.
My mother has Alzheimer's, and she's been getting progressively worse. If I had had to do all this care at home, I don't know that I'd be around. This is a lot of care. She requires full-time care. So I feel so lucky that she's someplace where people do care about her, and they do all this physical care that I don't think I really physically could do, and it would be hard to hire somebody into the house to stay with her 24 hours a day.
Communicating with residents. Developing trust is the foundation for good communication. Residents who trust you are the ones who feel they can easily talk with you and that you will listen. Trust also means that residents know they can depend upon you for their care and safety.
Yes. Trust is a big issue around here. The patient, a lot of times when you first receive them, you have to build that relationship with them. You have to let them know that you're gonna come in and check on them, you're gonna be there to help them, you're gonna assist them in whatever areas they need it. And by you making frequent visits into their rooms, then they'll begin to trust you.
If you tell them you're going to do something, then that's what they're looking for you to do. If you tell them, I'm going to be back in 5 minutes to help you with your bath or to help you write a letter, then they're going to be looking for you all day because you said you was coming back. So I think you should be a person that let your word speak for you.
If you say you're going to do something for them, do it for them. They ask you to go get some for them, or take them like we have some we take to the beauty shop, or take them for a walk or something. They trust that you're going to come back and actually do what you say you're going to do.
Your ability to communicate with residents can make a positive impact on their overall well-being. Developing communication usually comes as a result of getting to know a person well. A way of doing this is through casual conversation and taking an interest in what he or she has to say.
It's nice to have people kind to you and understand.
You listen to them so they can feel like they're loved and cared about, because the main thing is just conversation with them. So you're interacting with them.
It is important to remember that if you are having trouble understanding a resident, then you should politely ask the person to repeat what he or she has just said. If you still don't understand, then get the help of someone who might be able to clarify what the resident is trying to say. In some cases, it is wise to get someone's help, especially if you think the resident has a problem that needs to be addressed. For residents with dementia, memory loss and a decline in thinking ability can make simple conversations with others very frustrating. Sometimes they can't find the words to express what they're thinking or feeling. They may also have difficulty understanding what a caregiver is saying.
They get frustrated easily. They can't tell you what they'd like to tell you. The words just don't come out the way they'd like to say them.
How you talk is very important, and you have to be calm and gentle.
Keep the questions short and simple, and yes or no questions are the most easier for them to answer.
Make sure that you are speaking directly to the person, loud enough but not too loud, slow enough so that they can understand what you're saying.
Speaking slowly and clearly is also very important.
You don't rush them.
Regardless of a resident's mental or physical status, each one should be treated with dignity and respect. In doing so, you will help to build good communication with that resident.
I like the ones that speak kindly and seem willing and seem to love their job.
A lot of times I interact with them according to what their level is. If they're into wanting a mom, sometimes they'll talk to you as if you're the adult and they're the child. So rather than calling them baby names and stuff like that, I'll still say Ms. or Mr., but I'll always go in with a smile and ask them how they're doing, give them a hug, let them hug me if that's what they want.
In the course of the day, you will find that many residents want to socialize with you. Often it occurs while you are providing them with personal care. A resident's need for conversation is an important part of his or her desire for human contact. Talking and listening to residents can be a way of easing their loneliness or the problems weighing on their mind.
Just recently my daughter passed on, and of course I was a little on the blue side, and they're all very understanding and express their good thoughts. That helps a lot. You feel like that you have someone that's kind of taken you under their wing, and I'm grateful for that.
When someone is lonely, you just feel like you all alone and nobody cares. So we try to talk to them, get them to talk about things that's upsetting them or might make them feel like they don't belong or something like that. They need someone to just talk to or somebody to just listen to them, and it makes them feel better.
You have to understand where they're coming from. For instance, we have a gentleman whose wife just passed away, and he doesn't want to be out with anyone at the moment. He wants to stay by himself, and that's one thing it's good to know about these people, where they came from and what's been going on in their lives, and maybe you'll understand them a little bit better.
Throughout your daily work, you are likely to encounter residents who are difficult to communicate with because of poor hearing and vision. Sometimes it's these types of residents who have the greatest need for you to reach out and touch their lives. The following is a list of suggestions that can help you to better communicate with them. For residents with poor hearing, you can speak slowly and clearly. Identify yourself by name. Use gestures or point to objects to help explain what you are saying. If the resident does not understand what you are saying, then repeat yourself. If the resident does not understand after the second try, then restate what you said in different words that you think the resident will understand. For residents with poor vision, you can position yourself where the resident can see you best and identify yourself by name. If the resident has glasses, make sure that he or she has them on and that the lenses are clean. Use touch and talk frequently so that the resident knows what you are doing, especially during care activities. For newly admitted residents, adjusting to life in a nursing home is often difficult. In these situations, communication and building trust are especially important. Showing compassion and concern can help ease a resident's sense of isolation. Consider the example of a new resident who was withdrawn and silent. With the support and encouragement of her nurse aide, the resident began to talk and attend activities.
I say, well, why weren't you talking when you first came? And she said, because she didn't feel like she belonged here, that she missed her family. And I just reminded her that we were her family, and when she was lonely or needed someone to talk to, she could call one of us and we'll come in and keep her company.
Communicating with a resident's family. It is important to never forget that family members often struggle with the heartbreak of watching their loved ones decline physically and mentally. Your support and open communication can help them cope with this difficult situation. It is important that they have confidence in your ability to care for the resident.
They expect us to care for them, really be there for them.
They treat her as if that's their own mother too. They give completely of themselves at all times. And they love, they laugh with them, they touch them, they cry with them, And with us too. I mean, not with Mama, but with me too. If there's times that might be hard, they, you know, and because I'm a very sensitive person, they cry with me, they hold me, they hold my hand, they just have a beautiful spirit that has to be part of what they do.
When family members visit, it is important that you greet them warmly and politely. At the appropriate time, you can take them to the side and speak to them about how their loved one is doing. For example, you can share with them your observations about the resident's progress. Questions that you can't answer should be referred to your supervisor. Open and respectful communication is vital to a positive relationship with family members.
Family member come in and ask specific questions, like, did Mom eat well today, or did she go to the activities, or whatever. And normally it's just a matter of, you know, just letting them know whether or not they were active or inactive, or did they act out in a certain way, you know, as if they were agitated or something like that. So if the mood changes, we'll let them know that the mood is changing.
As a nurse aide, you are the one who spends the most time with residents throughout the day. The observations you share with family members can sometimes play an important part in helping to change a resident's life for the better.
The time that I'm here, I only see little snapshots of what's going on. But this is where recently, and it was not just the nurse, but the aide who would come and tell me exactly what was going on, that she wasn't eating, that she was losing weight, that she wasn't sleeping at night. See, I wouldn't know those things, and it's hard sometimes to get those answers. And the aide would come and she would tell me about this.
Good communication with family members is the result of their learning to trust you. This means that they have confidence that you will provide the best care to their loved one. On visits, they will confide in you and discuss their fears and concerns. It is important that you show them compassion and understanding.
The aides, some of the aides that take care of her on a daily basis, she thinks they're her friends. And so, I mean, they're family to her, or friends.
I always thank them every chance I get, because I know that what they do is very hard. And you should always say thank you. And that I love them and trust them and appreciate all that they do, not only for Mama, but for all of them.
Program summary. For your post-test, you should be able to explain the importance of listening to a resident. Describe ways in which you can build trust with a resident. List ways that can help you communicate better with residents who have poor vision and hearing. Explain why treating a resident with dignity and respect is important to developing good communication. Describe how you should treat family members and why communication with them is important. Describe the action you should take when a resident has a complaint or problem that you cannot help them solve. A little conversation and a willingness to listen. They seem like simple gestures, but for residents who struggle with daily life, these simple gestures can ease their sense of isolation.
Patience. Got to have patience, and the love and the kindness and the care for your residents. You got to have the love. Really, you really have to have the love and the patience. It takes all of that.